several coaches refer to Utah's defense as an SEC defense playing in the Pac-12. And that fits, right? Physical, fast, going to give anybody a game.
Yeah.
Right. It's just trouble all day. It's a long day, right?
Yeah, basically a long day when you got
everybody's coming.
Yes, sir.
So, Bears fan, Jalen Johnson, one of my favorite corners coming out. Couldn't have been happier.
He had a great year
in Chicago. Yeah, he's had a couple of great years. And, again, but he fit that model, right?
Yes, sir.
You're not going to be a corner and not tackle for Utah. So just talk about that mentality you guys have at Utah as a sort of defensive philosophy, not position specific, just what do we want to do?
I think it's something that, Coach Scally and a bunch of the other position coaches, put out as the culture. And then our culture is the relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks. That's our mentality. And I think a thing that really helped this year was the amount of leaders we had. I know everyone had eyes on Dev as our main leader, but there was more leaders than just him that put that culture out there for everyone to see. So I think that played a big part in our team's success, especially on defense.
Absolutely.
So you play a role in the NFL that is increasingly becoming A, harder to get, and B, more important, which is a linebacker that can cover.
Yes, sir.
In terms of where you expect to play in the NFL, do you think you're more probably going to be like outside backer, like kind of a nickel hybrid role, or is it purely inside? Do you think you might play safety?
Yeah.
Where are you kind of seeing yourself?
Scouts and all the interviews have asked me that same question. I'm comfortable playing Mac, Will, hybrid nickel, or safety. So I'm really comfortable at playing all positions. It's kind of where I see myself at anywhere, wherever I go.
In terms of run fits and stuff like
Yeah.
that, do you kind of prefer fitting from outside, like the apex, or inside?
I like the inside. I like to get the banging, so inside's pretty fun. Outside is, cool as well because, you come free most of the time, make tackles. But inside is definitely where all the dirty work happens, so you get action, so I like
You're
that.
not afraid of contact because, you got two brothers that are pretty damn big. What was it like growing up with them?
It was fun, obviously when you're young, you have a lot of fights when you're young. As we grew older, we all basically had an understanding of one another, so not many fights later on, and I guess even currently no fights at all. But, I was a smaller frame kid. Panay and Noah, I've kind of always, had that frame since we were young. But, that helped me become the person I am today. I always feel like I got to bring my A game every day, have a chip on my shoulder. So,
what's it feel like to probably have three brothers playing in the NFL at the same time in a couple of years?
That'll be nice. I'm sure my parents are looking forward to it, especially if we all end up different places. It'll be fun for them to travel all over the world with all the hard work and sacrifice they made for us. They deserve to travel around the world. So very, very excited when that opportunity presents itself, but just mainly excited for all of us.
Yeah, you talked about your willingness or I'll say your enjoyment of hitting.
Yeah.
And it's something that comes through on tape that, I know a lot of people start with a name. I don't start with a name. I don't start with a helmet. First thing that got my eye when I was looking at your tape was contact, right? You were not afraid of it, and when you get there, you bring it. And contact's not a size thing. So you talked a little bit about how you developed that mentality. Again, would you rather do that from, you said inside, but more backer, or you want range when that happens?
From the backer spot, I've gotten really comfortable with it, so I would say the backer spot. But that doesn't mean I'm afraid to run straight full downhill 10, 20 yards and make a hit.
Speaking of running straight full 10, 20 yards, what about special teams?
Early on in my career, big time in special teams. I think this past year it really got tailored down because I had an injury, so I was really limited to one special team. But other than that, it's where I made my money in college football. That's how I got my starting spot, and that's kind of my plan going into this thing. And especially in the long run, I know special teams will be a big part of my game.
So you've played against a ton of great players, Pac-12 and otherwise.
Yes, sir.
Who's the toughest guy you ever faced?
Toughest? It's kind of hard to say because there's a lot of tough guys on my team.
Sure, we'll ask you about that in a minute. So no fair kiping them this time.
Tough guys on the other team, or any team?
Any team.
I'm gonna say my brother first.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm gonna say my brother because we grew up in the same family, same mindset. So I'm gonna say my brother.
It's a wise choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my brother. Second, toughest. I'm gonna give it a Die. 2 Oregon guys.
Yeah.
Die is smaller frame, but he carried the rock this year, and regardless, of all the hits he took, he got up and still ran. So good for him.
What was it like smacking Oregon's lights in the same season? Nobody thought you had to
I'm just glad we came together as a team and turned it around. Preseason started rough. We were 1-2, but we knew that preseason didn't have any effect in how the Pac-12 could play. So just having those 2 games stack up against on how the year went, is just a big accomplishment, and just happy for everyone, especially all the guys.
So who's got on your team? We'll flip it back to your team. Utah's loaded up that 2-3 years from now is going to be sitting in that chair, and you're going to say, "Yep, I told you, he was the dog."
Yes, sir. Oh, who's the dog? I'm going to tell y'all right now, R.J. Hubert is going to be a guy. He didn't play because of an injury, but R.J. Hubert is a name y'all want to keep aware of. Another one is obviously Corinna Reed, and then obviously Clark Phillips, and then J.T. Broughton, who also got an injury earlier in the season. So just a couple names to look out for. Obviously Junior and a couple of the D linemen are going to make a name for themselves, but just a couple names to put out there.
Are there any particular players here at the Shrine Bowl that you've gotten reps against so far where you're like, damn, he's really good?
The USC running back.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of his.
He's
the way
tough.
and the way he plays.
Yeah.
It's like
You see him take out
Yeah.
Lucas yesterday?
I actually, bruh, when I seen that, I was like, oh, I like the way you play. You come with a little physicality, it's part of the game. So, and he has some good moves on him.
Yeah.
That boy can hit a cutback once he sees it. So, the USC running back for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to watch him in blocking drills today. The Washington football team's running back coach, Jennifer King, was coaching that group.
Yes, sir.
She had him working on the side with waves of blockers coming out, just basically working on set, exploding hands. And he's got some form to come to, but power and explosion, plenty.
Yeah.
The attitude was real evident, and that's a lot of what blocking a lot of players in the NFL is. A lot of what playing in the NFL is anyways, is the want to.
Yes, sir.
Especially with running backs, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to play unless
You
you
got to
block.
want to do a lot of things in football.
Yeah, and it's will and want, and he
Yes,
is
sir.
not short on either, so I'm not
Yeah.
surprised you said him.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a PBU or a sack?
I want a sack. I want a sack bad.
That's a lot, man.
I want a sack
you
bad.
covered.
Well, I covered. I think also another thing was my ankle thing. Couldn't really cut off one side, so like that limited my choice of moves. But I want a sack.
How are you doing with that ankle?
Good. I'm feeling really healthy right now. Probably the healthiest I've been since going into the 2021 season. Just glad got to take the time after the season, get the correct rehab. I kind of just rushed into playing again.
Yeah.
Kind of just forced through the pain. So.
Classic Utah.
Yeah. So got the proper, recovery process going. So I'm feeling good.
What do you think you're going to run?
I want to run a 4.4, but I'll tell you I'll run a 4.5.
Hey, man.
There you go.
There's a lot of linebackers that are a lot slower than that have really good careers.
Hey.
5 is what you want.
Under promise and over deliver. We love it.
Yeah. I will. It's a dream to run a 4.4, but I will for sure run a 4.5.
I'm telling you, you are an in-demand asset in the NFL. You go out there and you run 4.5 and you're a linebacker. Because, what, Darius Leonard's 215?
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know.
He's all pro.
I honestly didn't know linebackers in the league actually weighed that light.
Now they do.
Because when I was putting on weight to become a linebacker, Coach Swan was like, "Yeah, you need to be 225." I was
Yeah.
like, at least I was like, "Okay, 225." So I threw on the weight, and I got comfortable as the time went on. But I actually didn't know.
That's the old number, and a
Yeah.
lot of people stick with it.
Yeah.
And really, it's been a while now. We're talking about 8 years,
Yeah.
7, 8 years, where we started to see linebackers come in, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's under 225 during the
Yeah.
season, and he's leading the team in tackles." And people started to get okay with it, and now yeah, again, people, you say, oh, he plays at 218, he plays at 220, he plays at 222. People are like, what? He looks bigger than that. But everybody's gotten lighter. Everybody's gotten faster. Linebackers have to cover.
Yeah.
Like, just like I said about running backs, if you don't block, you're not going to play. If you're a linebacker and you don't cover, they can't hide you.
Yeah.
Right? They can hide you for a week, but it's a 17, 18-week season. Like, they can't hide you. Have to cover.
Yeah.
So when he says in demand, that's what he means.
Because, like, you know, watching you talk, so when I was watching you, when you were covering this game, it's interesting how they use you in coverage, because a lot of linebackers, they'll banjo running backs over the backfield because they have to.
I lock on.
With you, you're locked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Like, you in the NFL, like, if you can go to the NFL where, like, they don't want to feel forced to have to play, like, Rip Liz and banjo back, if you can lock, then they can put the other backers somewhere else. So, like, the RPO game, you fit it differently. They can't start throwing glances off of it. Like, it changes defense.
Yes, sir.
That's why you're getting drafted.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to bench you. They just leave you there.
Yeah.
You won't get a lot of sacks because they're going to have to use
Yeah,
you
well,
cover.
that's a, you know, that's the thing I'm willing to give up, is making a play so that someone else can make it, you know. That's usually how the game goes. Good coverage equals good sacks, and good pressure equals good INTs. So.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, appreciate you.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Nephi, thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We'll see you around.
Yes, sir. Hope you go to Detroit, play with your brother.